All right, let's see. Looks like we're live. It's a little 2-game Friday slate. Hopefully you did well last night. You could have missed the Cam Rising thing was ridiculous. If you didn't see, my lineup did very well, but you could have picked the wrong receivers last night. And these tough slates like this, you kind of got to take a chance. So I hope you did well. If not, just trust the process. Look, if you're hitting over 55% in cash, just be so thankful that this is the one thing you can consistently profit at DFS, right? Because to assume that you're ever going to consistently profit off of GPPs, it's just not sustainable unless you have a huge bankroll and you can make plus EV lineups over a very long term. So I'm now up to 14 of 18, 78%. I'm never going to be one of those guys like, oh, I get 78%. Like, I know I've just been running hot. My goal is just to hit 60%, which is, 55, I think is a great goal for anybody. But if I'm going to claim I'm better than people at this stuff and I have an edge, I feel like I should be able to consistently hit 60% year in, year out. So that's been my goal. I might miss 3 or 4 slates in a row and could be down to 60%. DFS will always fucking humble your ass, so don't ever think you got it figured out, because you fucking don't. But I will tell you, with all that said, there is a bigger edge at college football DFS than any sport I play. That and showdown golf. If there was a bigger audience, that'd be the only thing I did content for, because that's where the biggest edge exists. So I'll just keep pumping it out here for the Discord. All right, let's talk about this slate tonight. I just made a lineup that I really like. Problem is, it does involve punting. I got to take one punt, right? Because I really wanted to get it in there. So I'm going to be focusing mainly on cash talk, because I just feel like that's the more sustainable way to play, especially on these small slates like this. Some of those GPPs they make are just so gross. So gross. But if you're a GPP player, I put all the GPP plays on here that you might want to consider, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to start by talking about GPPs just so I don't forget, okay? First of all, I think a great game to look at for GPPs is this Louisiana Tech versus FIU. I think most of the action is going to come in on ECU BYU. So right there, if you get the game that shoots out and you have more guys in this game, you play 5 or 6 guys from this game, it's going to give you a huge leverage on the field. Furthermore, Louisiana Tech, their whole quarterback situation is very fluid. It appears as though this Landry Liddy, name of the fucking day, is going to start, but he might be on a short lease. They got the other quarterback that just came back from concussion. I don't fucking have all of Louisiana Tech's quarterbacks' names memorized, but he could be back. So that one's tricky. This Marquise Mason Crosby, he's a kicker. No, Marquise Crosby, 3,000, the stone minimum. Getting, roughly 12 touches a game. That's kind of a punt that I really like. He really makes the lineup work, because there are some really good receivers on the slate tonight. Problem is, none of them are cheap, right? You can see all the ones I have labeled here in green. We're talking 6,100, 7,000. Puka Nacua is too cheap at 5,800. Smoke and Trey Harris, 62, 5,300 respectively, and Chambers. So, there's a lot of really good receivers on this slate. Matter of fact, this would be one of the few times I will tell you, I think you're better playing 4 wide receivers tonight and 2 running backs. So basically making your flex a running back is basically a wide receiver. Because normally I say make your running back a flex, but on a short slate like this, there's just not enough good running back options, okay? Anyways, back to GPP. I really like, if you want to take a chance, run Liddy and then go stack him with both the Harrises, run it back with FIU, with Grayson James and Tyrese Chambers. That's going to be a really weird build. Or you could go Liddy, Crosby, and one of the Harrises. I tend to think Trey, I just like that he's cheaper and he's getting more targets, but Smoke he's fast. Some would say he's smoking. So there's that. Okay. And then if you want to, I think you definitely want to have pieces of both games. So if you're going to run 5 or 6 pieces out of this game, come over here and grab Mitchell and run it back with Nacua. Yes, that'll be a super chalky correlation, but because you have attacked this game first, you can be different. So that would be my GPP strategy for tonight. I'm not playing GPP. I just want to keep the cash train rolling. Just absolutely smoked last night, so I'd like to, I think I did whatever, couple $100 if that, doubled it, and then I'm gonna take all that again that I won yesterday, double it again, and then hopefully have a nice free ride tomorrow in cash. That's the goal. Just keep doubling it down like you're at the blackjack table. I believe they call that the martingale system. Let's get to cash. To me, in cash, I'm not. Once again, don't get fucking cute at cash. Don't get fucking cute at cash. Okay. Cam Rising, you played Cam Rising last night. You just played him, okay? Yes, he was fucking out, and that was some weird shit. Welcome to college football, okay? The thing is, everybody was playing him, so it didn't fuck you. If you had Cam Rising in your cash lineup, you were fine. I had him in there. Fuck, I had him. I tossed it in like some GPPs that overlaid, and I almost still won the GPPs, even having a 0 spot from my most expensive player. Cash tonight, don't overthink it. I think you got to go Ehlers, and I think you got to go Jaren Hall. I don't want to mess around. Look, I agree that both of these guys over here priced, Grayson James makes a lot of sense at 5,900. If you want to play him in there, look, this is the equation you got to do. Do you want to punt at quarterback or do you want to punt at running back? Because I don't think you want to punt at receiver tonight. There's just too many good wide receiver options. Between Winstead, C.J. Johnson, Nakua, Trey Harris, and Tyrese Chambers, I don't see any reason you shouldn't have 3 or 4 of those guys in your lineup, right? But none of them are cheap, right? So you're going to have to find some savings somewhere. Especially if you're putting Hall in your lineup. He's 8,000. That ain't cheap, brother. And so if you got to ask yourself, you want to punt at quarterback or do you want to punt at running back? Okay, my initial build, I punted at running back, but I get it. Playing Grayson James, $6,000 quarterbacks that get you 24 points, the nuts. You love it, right? But then here'd be my question. Who's the other running back you're going to play? You know what I mean? This is just to me, the one running back you definitely got to play is Keaton Mitchell. He's like Gore last night. Gore didn't even have a good game, but he was just so safe, right? He has 30-point upside. He didn't get there, but he basically had a 12-point floor, and you're paying for that floor. Same thing with Keaton Mitchell tonight. He's not like some guy that's going to get us 28 points for sure, but he just probably has a 10 or 11-point floor that we don't get with any of these other guys. Katoa has just been, he's so bad. He doesn't get a lot of touches. He's so inefficient. I feel like if I'm playing a BYU running back, I'd much rather play Miles Davis. He's just better. But I don't know if I feel comfortable enough to put him in my cash lineup, especially if I'm going to have Hall and Nakua. I don't know. It's just I like to spread it. I want to have some action from every single team. Just like last night, I had 2-2. 1-1-1-1-1. That was my cash lineup, right? I made sure I had somebody from every game because it's not like any of these games have a 20-point total and we need to stay the fuck away from it. These are both very live games with guys who are going to get volume. So why would I go play 4 guys from the same team in my cash lineup where they're essentially, there's only, you got to feed everybody's mouth in that, right? I would rather have pieces that are going to get large amounts of targets relative to their game and their team, right? So that's why I really like that each one of these teams has a clear wide receiver option. And I really just like getting one of these 2 in there, Nakua, Harris, Chambers, and then you basically have the top target guy for each team, and you just hope that you don't catch some random fucking variants. And you hope that dumbasses go out there and play Katua at cash. I mean, just fucking say thank you. That's really dumb play. He doesn't get that many touches. Sure, he might fall in the end zone twice tonight and break the slate for cash. I don't give a fuck. He's a bad play. He's a bad play. I would play this Lexington Joseph, who is $200 more, 58,000 times more before I play him. Because look, he literally gets twice the touches. And he's not doesn't have a guy who's about to take over the role like Miles Davis is from Katua. To me, I'm definitely running Mitchell, and then I'm going to have to decide right now. I think I have Crosby. He's my punt in the lineup, but I could change it up. So that's where I'm at on running back. Running back's kind of shitty tonight. Quarterback, I think Ehlers. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Hall and Ehlers. If you want to get cute, you go James. Liddy is great for GPPs. Do not play him in cash. Wide receiver, the last one. This is a great wide receiver slate. As I've already said 58 times. I put tons of wide receivers on here in case you're playing GPPs, right? I don't really see a lot of reason that you should be playing. The only team I would play 2 guys from in a cash lineup, I think you could get away with playing Winstead and Johnson. They both have such, specifically Winstead. I mean, you just got to love those 11 targets a game. CJ Johnson's very efficient, though, with his 5 receptions on 6 targets. You got to like that. But if I'm going to, if I'm paying 6,100, I'd rather just go play Nakua, right? Unless you want to play them both. Maybe you have a lineup that you have them both. But Ehlers, if you want to go stack Winstead and then maybe instead of Johnson, go play Jones or Hatfield, I think those guys make sense. But like guys like Jones, Hatfield, Chase Roberts, Cosper, Herbert, Allen, these guys down here that have a GPP onlys, I basically am saying only play those guys if you're stacking one of their quarterbacks, right? You want to go build a weird Grayson James stack tonight, well, go play Chambers and then go play Bracey. That's what I'm saying when I do that, right? High upside guys, those are guys that like you could consider for cash, but really that just means they're really good projections versus their salary. They could go off. They could make sense in a cash lineup, but they really make sense in a GPP lineup because that's what we really want is a high upside guy. Whereas when they're just GPP, I'm saying that's a real risk, right? Sure, they have upside, but more it's just like you're kind of just throwing darts and hoping you get one to stick to spike a GPP, right? So I wouldn't overthink it tonight. Wouldn't overthink it. You're considering 3 quarterbacks. Okay, don't mess around with this Landry Liddy Louisiana Tech bullshit. You got to have Mitchell. It's non-negotiable. Yes, Mitchell's 6,800. I guess you could double punt at running back. I guess you could go Crosby and maybe Lexington, Joseph from FIU, and then you could have all the receivers you want. But I don't know, man. I just don't see there's any way to pass up Keaton Mitchell's probably 17 to 18 touches. Okay, with a 30-point team total against BYU, who people have been running wild on all year. So give me the Mitchell. And then the other running back, I think that you could, you're going to have to take a high upside guy. I think it's between Davis, Crosby, and Joseph, whoever you like. I've already said this. I almost always tell you to go a running back in the flex, so that gives you 2 quarterbacks because you always run your super flex as a quarterback, non-negotiable. And then I always tell you go your 2 regular running backs, and I usually tell you to run a running back in the flex, but on a 2-game slate like this, I don't think that's smart. Tomorrow, when we're doing our Saturday lineup, we'll definitely be running a running back in the flex because there's some really good options out there. And then tonight, you're getting 4 receivers in there. Get 4 receivers, preferably I'd try to get 1 from every team. There you go. I think Smoke Harris is viable. I think Keanu Hill is viable if you need that salary relief. But I think just don't get cute. Try to get Winstead. Try to get Nakua. Try to get Trey Harris. Try to get Tyrese Chambers. Those are just very safe options. Look at those targets on all those guys, right? So that's where I'm at. And if you're like, well, Nakua only gets 6 targets. Dude, they run end around to that motherfather 58 times a game. If he doesn't get hurt, he's got like a 20-point floor. He's fucking amazing. And even if he dicks me over tonight, he's won me so much money this year, there's no way I could ever be down on Nakua. All right, hey, I'm going to be at a high school football game tonight. It's my buddy's, he's the head football coach there, Pawnee, Oklahoma, and he wants us to come check out. They just did some renovations, wants us to go see it, so I'm trying to put everything out early today. I will be on the Discord. The game kicks off right when lock is tonight, so I'll try to be on the Discord. If you guys see any information, please share it on there. We're a community. If you see that fucking there's rumors that Miles Davis is going to be out, well, we need to know that shit, right? So share it on there. Don't be an asshole that doesn't share information. I would share it with you. I'd hope you'd share with me. You guys have all been cool. There's only it seems like there's only about 20 of us that are really in this college football waters. So we'll just be a little brotherhood there. So this is the Friday slate. I'm going to go put together the Saturday slate and get that rough draft out. But I'm going to do a stream tomorrow morning for you guys. So there'll be that. And we will go over any updates, see if there's anything we want to change about our cash lineups, talk about some good GPP plays, look at overlays, any news that may break, all that stuff. But I got to hurry up and go get that Saturday Rosetta Stone made up for the rough draft so that I can get on the road because Pawnee, Oklahoma ain't very close to me. All right, good luck tonight, my brothers.